What it do, Kangaroos? It's your boy Chance,
It's your boy Jake.
and we're back with What's Trending. So today we're going to go in and talk about Myles Garrett last night. You all know the Browns played the Steelers in a Thursday night football game, a rivalry game, and it was pretty much a sloppy game the whole way. But in the end, it got really bad. Jake, what do you...
The game throughout was a pretty sloppy game. Multiple players left with a concussion. People were saying on social media that the Browns were playing dirty. And then once it got to the end of the game, there was about
8 seconds.
8 seconds left. And the quarterback for the Steelers, Mason Rudolph, went to throw a pass. And Myles Garrett, a player on the Cleveland Browns, came in, tackled him, held him down for a little bit longer than he should have. And then they just started wrestling on the ground. Mason Rudolph tried to pull off Myles Garrett's helmet and allegedly kicked him in the groin. And it just escalated from there, from Myles Garrett ripping off Mason Rudolph's helmet and actually hitting him in the head with his own helmet. What would you think about it?
I thought originally what I saw was I only saw Myles Garrett in the wrong. It was on live TV. So when I saw Mason Rudolph's helmet was ripped off, I thought, okay, you're taking it a little too far. And then I saw him swing his helmet on Mason Rudolph, and that's when it just got way out of line. That doesn't belong in the league. The league's come out today and said that he will be suspended indefinitely, along with a few other players were included in the fight. What Myles Garrett did is just inexcusable, and personally, the dirtiest play I've ever seen in the NFL. What do you think?
I would say it's probably the dirtiest play I've ever seen in the NFL. The player for the Bengals, I believe it was, Vontaze Burfict, he had the league's longest suspension, which was a whole season for multiple targets to the head.
He was previously on the Bengals, but now he's on the Raiders.
And I think that what Myles Garrett did was much worse than that. That took it to a whole nother level. People are saying that he should be in jail because if this happened anywhere else other than a football field, on the street or anything like that, he'd go to jail for assault and battery.
I saw someone say that if it was Tom Brady rather than Mason Rudolph, he would have been in handcuffs on the field right then and there.
Yeah, and he put another player in serious danger like that. If he hit him at any other part of the helmet, he could have significantly done damage to him.
Yeah.
And cracked his skull or whatever it is. But
it's really sad because Myles Garrett is one of the best edge rushers in the league, and he's so young. And for him to do this, I don't think it defines who he is, because it is his first problem, like major problem. But he does have to face the consequences, and if that means a suspension until next year or even possible, being banned from the league.
A lot of people were saying he should be banned from the NFL. How do you feel about that?
I don't think he should be banned. I think it is the dirtiest play that I've seen, and that's including all the Ndamukong Suh's plays. But with his talent, he is so fun to watch just when he is playing football. He came out today and he's apologized. He's apologized to Mason Rudolph. He's apologized to his teammates, the fans, everybody. He realizes what he did. I think he let his anger get in the way. I think he was provoked. Mason Rudolph played the innocent card in his presser after the game, but you can clearly see Mason instigated that fight, and I don't know what was said on the ground. Myles Garrett said he uses a racial slur. Now that could be his scapegoat. It might not be, but I don't think that he should be out of the league forever. I think the suspension should be a full year up until week 8 of next year or somewhere around there. But I like watching Myles Garrett as a player, even if it's going against him. He's fun to watch.
Do you think that this could lead to possibly criminal charges?
I don't think it will lead to a criminal charge because Mason did instigate it, and Mason Rudolph isn't as innocent as everybody thought he was originally. With all the videos coming out and all the angles that were not seen on live TV, it was a fight that got way too out of hand, and Myles Garrett just was the one that took it way too far.
And Myles Garrett is a crucial player to their team, and if I'm not wrong, I think this game was crucial for both teams playoff-wise.
Yeah.
Because both teams are in the hunt to make the playoffs, and it's just a big loss for the Browns because he was probably their best player on defense.
Probably the best player on the team.
Yeah, and Now he's out for who knows how long. The league said a minimum of the rest of this year, including the playoffs.
Speaking of the rest of their season, the Browns, they really came together. Baker said in a press conference before the game that the team needed to play as a team. They needed to get rid of that hype that was at the beginning of the season because they needed to go out and win games, which they weren't doing. And so the first quarter they looked good and they looked like a team that wanted to win, but eventually it got more sloppy. And any run that they want at the playoffs is just going to be a lot harder now without that dominant edge rusher that teams have to game plan for every week.
Especially it's got to be rough at such a late point in the game with 8 seconds left for him to do that. It's just a silly mistake. It's just something you can't do. And you got to know better. But
Another thing in the NFL is Colin Kaepernick. He's, as everybody knows, trying to make a comeback. He has a NFL audition Saturday. How do you feel about that?
I'm excited for him. I'm happy for him. I think he's a talented guy and deserves to be in the league. He stood up for what he believed in, and because of that, he basically was kicked out of the NFL. And if you look at it now, I would say I couldn't name a backup quarterback in the NFL that is more proven and better than him. And he's honestly probably better than some starters, and I really hope he makes a team.
For a lot of people, they think that Colin Kaepernick was not good enough to play in the league, and he actually got benched. And that's just not right. He went to the bench because he was hurt for that injury. He actually put up 16 touchdowns and only 4 picks. Colin Kaepernick has the 27th highest quarterback rating of all time. There are 32 teams in the league. He can fit on one of those teams and make them a better team. And maybe one of the contenders like the Steelers with Mason Rudolph last night, just showing him he had 4 picks and almost got knocked out for the second time this season.
That is true.
I think Colin Kaepernick could be a great addition to the Steelers.
I think he could also fit in well with the Chicago Bears. They've been struggling at quarterback with Mitchell Trubisky, and they've got a solid defense, pretty good receivers.
I think with the success that Lamar's had this season, it really helps out Colin Kaepernick because he's able to, as far as I can remember, he is the most like Lamar quarterback that I've seen.
He's very mobile.
Yeah. So what do you feel about this whole NFL audition thing? Then?
First, most people thought it was a PR stunt.
I still believe it somewhat is.
Yeah, because if he's classified as a free agent, yet there's no other free agents in the league that have to go through this or do what he's doing right now. You just meet with a team and get signed by that team. But he has to have an audition for all these coaches to come out. And from what I've heard, there's at least 11 coaches coming out. And reporter Stephen A. Smith said that within the next 2 weeks, he's been told that Colin Kaepernick is going to be on an NFL roster. And, I mean, I really do hope that happens because I feel like he deserves it. He stood up for what he believed in. He was punished for that, and I feel that that's wrong.
Yeah, I didn't like it at first. I thought it was weird that he was, like you said, giving an audition. They called it a combine, which he's already gone through when he was drafted. It doesn't make sense to me. But I want Colin Kaepernick back in the league. I want him to prove a lot of doubters wrong. I think it's 3 years too late because now age does start to become a factor. He is now 31. You know, when players hit that 30-year-old mark, they're thought to decline. I don't think he declined that much, but it's a big difference than 28 and when he
That's true.
led the 49ers to a Super Bowl.
I've seen a lot of videos of him still working out, staying in shape, trying to get back into the league, and from what I've seen, it could just be the videos, but he looks like he's good and ready to go and in shape.
I think he will be ready to go. He's pulling in. I've seen reports that he's pulling in receivers like Antonio Brown and Chad Ochocinco and Terrell Owens, just old receivers besides Antonio Brown. But I'm excited to watch him. I hope they release some tapes. I want to see how he does. I'd like to see him on a team.
I've heard that the only way that he is not going to be signed on a team is if he talks bad to the coaches, or if he's throwing it in the stands or outside the field, or if his throws are just absolutely horrible. It's the only way he's not going to be on a team, and that there's many teams looking to get him right now.
Yeah, I really think he can improve a few, on the edge playoff contenders such as the Bears or the Steelers. Well, thank you. That's all we have time for today.
I'm Jake Vetter.
I'm Chance Morrison.
Thanks for tuning in to What's Trending.